Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do an experiment on mixing of watercolors. As you can see, I'm going to do 4 experiments on mixing of two different watercolors. Firstly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do wet on wet, meaning I'm going to apply a bit of water on the paper and then I'm going to put the first watercolor paint, which will be watery, and then immediately I'm going to put another watercolor paint, which too will be watery. So let's do this. I've taken two different paints, two different pigments. Firstly, there is cobalt blue, and then there will be crimson lake. First, let me apply a bit of water. While doing wet on wet, we should first dampen the paper. Okay, it's done. Now I'm going to apply the first paint, which is cobalt blue. Now I've taken less paint and more water. Let me put a little bit more paint here. Okay. Let me put water on this side too. Okay. Now I'm going to apply the second paint. On the left side. Okay, so I've applied crimson lake on the wet on wet side. You can see that the two pigments are mixing and a different color is forming. Now in this side, the dry on wet side, I'm going to apply less watery paint, almost dry paint. Let me do this. So here at number 2, I have put crimson lake on wet cobalt blue. Okay, now let me come to number 3. At number 3 we can see it's wet on dry. So first I'm going to apply dry cobalt blue. Dry means there will be very less water. The brush will be damp and I'm going to put dry paint on the paper. Okay. Now let me put wet or watery crimson lake on it, over it. So you can see number 3 is getting kind of similar to the number 1. Okay, so let me come to the number 4, dry on dry. So here I'm going to take less amount of water and more paint. So you can see I have taken less water and more paint here. Now at number 4 you have to put dry paint on dry paint and the base will be dry too. So here we'll have to wait a little bit for the paint to be totally dried. Okay, so I've given it a considerable amount of time for the first paint to be dried. It seems that it has completely dried. So now let me apply the second paint with less water and more paint. Let me see how it turns out. Okay, so let me just wait a little bit more for all the paints to be dried, completely dried, and then let's come back. Okay, now it seems that all 4 of the mixings have almost completely dried, and let me check the first one, wet and wet. So here you cannot make out which paints were used for the mixing. You can make an idea, you can get an idea that there were 2 paints or maybe 3 or more. It seems that both the paints have mixed up completely well, and it seems like it seems that this method can be used to paint distant objects like the sky or maybe a distant mountain where you cannot make out which color it is, less saturated, and feels like all the colors have mixed very well. Okay, now this one on the second paint, the dry paint, seems predominant, whereas the first one seems to be less saturated. These two can be used to paint interesting objects like flowers, maybe. I don't know. This is a learning curve for me too, like for you too. And this one looks kind of ugly, to be honest. And even though the structure is kind of interesting, but I don't know, maybe this method can be used on some interesting objects or something. But this one looks very useful, as does this one. And on dry, both the paints seem to be highly saturated, and this method can be used to paint objects or structure which are on the foreground of the painting, like the foliage maybe, or anything that is close to you or close to the foreground. This was my experiment on mixing of two colors using different amount of paint and water. You can try this at yours too, and you can check whether the results are similar or the results are different or interesting one. Please do try this by yourself and let me know how it goes. Thank you for watching my channel. Please do like and subscribe.